All right, so we're gonna do this video a little bit different. I've never used a whiteboard tool to demonstrate what I want to talk about. However, I'm gonna do that today. So if you like this video, just leave a thumbs up and leave a comment. Let me know that you like it, and if you don't, well, let me know what format you enjoy the most, and I will switch to that format. So everybody wants to know the path to making six figures as a digital marketer. When I first got started in digital marketing, this is the path that I went down. So first, I had to learn the skill, right? After I learned the skill, and I did this by making sure to buy like different resources, so courses, books, just other things in general. I tried to learn not only about digital marketing, but also about the psychological principles of marketing in general and sales, and just the fundamentals of marketing, because those are the things that you need to really be good at in order to understand how to be good at making people want to purchase something from you. And the name of the game of this is persuasion. If you can persuade people to buy stuff from you, then doesn't matter what skill you learn. Doesn't matter if you learn SEO, doesn't matter if you learn paid search, doesn't matter if you learn design. As long as you understand how persuasion works, you can make a sale. Okay. That was the first thing that I had to learn. The second thing that I started doing was I started freelancing. The reason why I started freelancing was because I needed to build a portfolio. So I started freelancing, and when I started freelancing, I knew nothing about how to do it correctly. To be honest with you, all I was doing was telling people, "Hey, I can help you get results," and then charging them and having them pay me. I wasn't even paying attention to taxes. I wasn't paying attention to none of that. I wasn't even charging people correctly. I was charging very little, low amounts of money. I didn't have an accountant. Like, I was just doing everything wrong. I was just literally just trying to make money. And I didn't care about anything else. And I got away with it for a little bit until I didn't get away with it, right? But ultimately, that's a hurdle that you have to, get over. Um, so I freelanced. My freelancing, my sales skills and everything wasn't that good. I honestly was able to freelance because I had friends that had businesses. So I just went to my friends and was like, hey, or like they had startup businesses. So I went to them and I was like, hey, you guys are trying to start a business. I have this skill. I can help you get results. And actually, first I did it for myself. That's one step I forgot to add here. So first, I built a website where I did all my own marketing, and then I was able to start generating myself leads. And then after I was able to generate myself leads, I felt confident enough to go offer this for someone else. But when I went to offer this for someone else, like the first person I started doing their marketing, I did it for free because I didn't have anything of value to provide. So aside from me getting leads for myself, so I did it for free. And after I started to do their stuff for free and they started to get some results, they started to recommend people to me, and that's how this whole freelancer thing really started. I started off charging next to nothing, like $50 to do like an SEO audit. I would charge literally nothing. Um, and I would help these people. And my goal really was to build a portfolio because even though I was starting to get clients, I wanted to get a job. Like, that was my ultimate goal. I wanted to make $60,000 a year from a job. So after I built my portfolio, I used the portfolio to land a job. I basically went into the job interviews and I said, "Hey, this is the skill set that I have. This is the results that I've been able to accomplish for other people. Here are all my references and testimonials. You can contact them if you want. And after you contact them, you can you can ask them any questions about me." Okay. Now, I used the job when I finally got my first job. I used the job to learn as much as possible, because when you're freelancing and you're doing it by yourself, you quickly realize that although you are learning a lot, you are not learning as much as you could possibly learn because you don't know what you don't know. And so you need to be exposed to what you don't know in order to know what you don't know, or in order to learn what you don't know. And so that's what I did. I exposed myself to things that I didn't know so I can learn about what I didn't know so I can get better. And it helped me ultimately improve my skills. And I improved my skill set. And then after I improved my skill set, I noticed that while working a job, I was always going to be capped. Like, no matter how good I got at the skill, no matter how much time I put into the skill, I would still get paid the same amount, right? Like, there was no bonus structure because it doesn't work like that in SEO. And it just was like, okay, well, what can I realistically do in order to get myself to earn more money. And that's when I realized that the only way I could really earn more money, even if I went up in the company, the amount of money that I would get, let's say I get a 4% raise, that was nothing for me. Like I wanted to make six figures. I wanted to go from $60,000 to $100,000, right? And um it took me 2 years to do this because I started doing digital marketing when I was like 20, 21. I think I was like 21 um when I first like got my first job, and then I started making six figures when I was 23. So what I did was I worked and then I freelanced right at the same time, and that's how I was able to make enough money to make six figures. Like I had to go get clients, and the way that I got clients was there's a lot of things that you have to know about managing clients while also working a job, right? But ultimately, it comes down to these two things. I mean, to these not two things, but to these things in general. You got to know how to market yourself. You got to know what platforms to market yourself on, and you have to understand who you're marketing yourself to, right? And that's a whole different skill set than just doing SEO. Like when you're working a job, your job is to do SEO. When you're freelancing, your job is to understand to some capacity how to market yourself and how to get yourself clients and how to make yourself look like a unicorn and how to stand out in a pool of fish, right? Where you're a fish as well and everybody's a fish, but now you have to figure out how to show them that you're a flounder and not a different type of fish, right? So that was one thing. Then time management. Then you also have to understand sales. As I said, when I first started freelancing, I wasn't really doing sales. I was going to my friends and saying, "Hey, I can do this to you. I can do this for you for free." You know, and there was nothing to sell because I wasn't selling anything. I was helping people for free. Um, and then you need to understand project plans because you need to understand how to effectively communicate to your client that this is what you're going to do. These are the deliverables that you are doing for them and when they can expect to receive things, right? And then you also need to have a contract. So you need to know all of this stuff in order to effectively make six figures, right? And so like for example, like how to market yourself. You know, everybody looks at all of these YouTube influencers on that do SEO and they see them on YouTube, right? And they think that well, the way to get clients is to go on YouTube. And don't get me wrong, this is a strong tactic to some degree, right? A lot of people get their clients from YouTube. However, a lot of people don't talk about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is literally the best way to get clients. And the reason why it's the best way is because number one, it's the most streamlined. Like, for example, you can write on LinkedIn. Writing is more streamlined than making a video, in my opinion, right? Because all you have to do is write and then you post. And that's it. Making a video, you have to write, then you have to record yourself, then you have to like say the script, then you have to publish the video. But before you can even publish the video, you have to edit the video, and it's all this stuff that goes into it in order to make a good video, right? Unless you're doing something like this where I'm just talking off the top of my head. But this is not structured enough, at least in my opinion, to get a client. Like a client wants to know exactly whose work, who did you do work for? What was the results that you got them? And how can you help me do the same thing? That's what a client wants to know, right? And sure, you can demonstrate that in a different way. There's many different formats, but I think like for a higher ticket client, that's more ideal to get you to the goal that you want to accomplish. It has to be very well thought out, very structured, and a lot of emphasis on how you present yourself. And I just think that for content like this, you don't really need to do that. Just because you guys are trying to learn, it's I'm not gonna go into it. Anyways, I'm going down a rabbit hole. But you need to understand all these different things, right? And so, like for example, with LinkedIn, I have a framework where I can create, a month's worth of content in a day, literally. Like, I like I have a framework for that, right? Time management, really, that just depends on you as an individual, like how you decide to manage your time. Over time, I just got better at it. Understanding sales, like you have to have a sales process. I have a sales process that has literally like it's a two-step sales process, and it has after the first step 100% closing rate. Like literally, I've never had anybody turn me away after they've gone through the first step of my process, right? And then you need to have a project plan and you need to have a contract. The contract is really to protect yourself, but it also comes across as a little bit more formal and a little bit more professional, right? So you need to have this stuff. And so like ultimately this is the path to making, this is the easiest path from my experience to make six figures. You get a high paying job. Let's say your job pays you anywhere between $60,000 to $80,000 a year, and you get a client that pays you just enough to make six figures, right? So if you're making, so realistically, you need a client to pay you, let's say, let's say you get a client that pays you $2,000 a month, and you get a job that pays you 80,000. That puts you at $104,000 if my math is not incorrect, right? That puts you at $104,000 a year or something like that. And that's all you need is one client to say yes while simultaneously having a job that pays you 80K, right? So, and then if you get, and let's say you get two clients to say yes, and then you only charge them each $1,000, right? It's a volume game, it's a numbers game, but you can ultimately accomplish this. Now, if you want to streamline your process and make this as smooth and as seamless as possible, I recently started a course called The Part Time Freelancer, where I take you through my sales process. I take you through how to market yourself, like up, my whole LinkedIn content process, because literally all my clients that I've ever gotten has came from LinkedIn, and it's come from me doing a lot of content marketing. So if you want to learn my process for LinkedIn and how I market myself on LinkedIn to get clients, that's in the course with proven results and all that other stuff. You need a contract. You need to know how to invoice. You need to know all the processes that you need to be a good freelancer. You can take my course, The Part Time Freelancer. It costs $350. I did a survey about a week ago, and I asked people, what would they pay? Would they pay $1,000 for this? Some people said yes, or would they pay up to 500? I mean, up to it, they would pay. I think I said like less than 1,000, but more than 500. And 19 people or something like that said they would pay, um, more less than 1,000, but more than 500. Well, guess what? I'm giving it to you for 350, which is cheaper than both options. Okay. And you can literally start this today. You can literally start this today. So the name of the game is content marketing, understanding how to produce content, and then understanding all these underlying things about being a freelancer in general. And that is the quickest path to making six figures in my experience. And a lot of people that I know have done this same thing. So that's it. That's the video. Let me know if you have any questions. If you do, leave them in the comments below, and I will talk to you in the next one. Peace.